Dr. Mahendra Gooroochurn from University of Mauritius. It's a big pleasure for us to be part of the 6th International Workshop on UI Grade-Metric World University Rankings. I'm one of the co-authors for the publication we submitted for this workshop, as well as Mr. Tulsi. So we are both from the Faculty of Engineering of the University of Mauritius. So I have been directly related to the UI Grade-Metric submission we prepared for the first time last year, and it has been a big pleasure to be part of this exercise and now to be presenting this part of our submission, which is a multidisciplinary experience, which we had in our Faculty of Engineering as part of accreditation process. We are very happy to be sharing our experience in this sense. So brief presentation outline, we're going to talk a bit about the education for sustainable development at the University of Mauritius. So what measures we've been taking over the past decade and how this has helped us in documenting for the submission last year. So like I said, it was our first participation last year where we prepared the guidelines, of course, according to the framework of UI Grade-Metric. And the specific topic for our article and for this presentation is multidisciplinarity in education for sustainable development. So based on my own practice, as well as Mr. Tulsi, and I'm sure most of you who are involved in sustainability projects will agree with me that more and more projects for supporting sustainable development are becoming more and more multidisciplinary. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate that through the accreditation framework we have for our engineering programs here, where we have one specific graduate attribute, as we call it, which is really the competence of that our graduates have to demonstrate to be able to get a degree. So one of these competences, which we call a graduate attribute, is actually multidisciplinarity. Yep, so we're going to take up two case studies. So the first one is from my own practice in the green building industry, where the multidisciplinary aspect, which is typically known as holistic approach or integrated design for ensuring buildings are designed with the optimum way, will be illustrated. And the second case study is from Mr. Tulsi. He worked more with the supply chain and logistics express, and there's one specific project he worked on for supply chain of fresh fruits and vegetables in Mauritius, where again we're going to highlight how the multidisciplinarity is very important to achieve proper sustainable development. Just a brief overview of the University of Mauritius. So it's based in Mauritius itself. The University of Mauritius is a prime university in Mauritius, and we have a mandate for training professionals across all segments of the economy. So right from the time we got our independence in 1968, the University of Mauritius has been at the heart of developing professionals and professionals across all segments of the economy. And today, of course, we have people who are occupying very important posts at the head of the country who have been formed, who have been ex-students of the University of Mauritius. Now, over time, I would say it started maybe 1 decade back, but definitely more than that before. The sustainability aspect became more and more important for the country, given that we are a small island developing state, so we are particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, and that in preserving our environment, in preserving our bioeconomy. Mauritius used to be a predominantly agriculture-focused country with sugarcane, but over time we diversified in other areas like textile, tourism, IT. But agriculture and protection of the environment remains a prime focus for the government. So through the past decade, the University of Mauritius has responded to this need and integrated sustainability progressively in modules. Also, we had MSc programs and short courses related to sustainable development for industry as part of CPD courses. So this transition has been happening over time. And another initiative which the university has come up with is an eco-campus initiative. So we just don't want to teach people how to be sustainable, but we want to actually showcase it practically ourselves through an eco-campus initiative. And really the UI Grade-Metric framework has been a very interesting exercise for us. So our first submission was last year, and it was really an enriching experience. I have been directly responsible working as a representative for the Vice Chancellor of the university, and have been directly responsible for compiling the various documentation. So I have experience before with lead accreditation system as part of my time in industry, so it was quite straightforward for me to document the various credits, if you want, or the various categories, And we're very happy to have gone through this process, and the senior management is very keen to bring this forward based on the strength we've noticed from the documentation, as well as areas where we find that we're not performing very well. We are creating a strategic document now to be able to progressively improve our sustainability over time. So this holistic thinking around sustainable development was very interesting for us. And like I said, we are creating sustainability plan, and one of them is a strategic plan to improve our sustainability based on the Industry 4.0 concepts. Because what we found in our first submission last year was that our concept of intelligent buildings is not very well represented in a holistic way across campus. So the Faculty of Engineering, a team at the Faculty of Engineering, and I'm part of that, is coming up with a very big project based on IoT and network analysis, network traffic, AI predictive impedance, and energy management to be able to understand the energy and resources uses of our buildings and come up with intelligent ways to collect this data and carry out AI and machine learning algorithms to understand these trends and be able to take action on them to be able to make better use of resources and reduce our environmental impact. Now, like I said, the main topic for our article we submitted, myself and Mr. Tulsi, is on multidisciplinarity. And I'm sure most of you would agree that increasingly we're having complex economic, environmental, and societal systems in any venture we are trying to come up with. And to be able to get it right, we have to be able to account or model these various factors. So it's becoming more and more difficult to do that properly unless we have a very multidisciplinary, a very multidisciplinary team who can work on these various aspects at the same time. So it's not just about having people from these disciplines working at the same time from these different disciplines covering the different topics of relevance, but it's also important that that holistic approach, that they are integrated seamlessly throughout the project. So I think it's a fundamental need of education for sustainable development, and this is what the industry is looking for. So as part of the curriculum where we are training students, it's very important that they are already exposed to this concept. They're already exposed to multidisciplinary work together as a team, and that's the very focus of our article. And what the experience I personally have in industry is this will require paradigm shift in the way things are going in industry, because currently we can see, yes, we have different people working in different areas in different projects, but it's quite difficult for that holistic integrated thinking to take place at the same time, so that you get proper optimization of whole project. So if you just come to the accreditation framework, we are currently implementing at the University of Mauritius for engineering programs. So like I explained at the start of the presentation, we have competencies that our graduates have to show, and these are typically called graduate attributes, and you can find 10 of them listed. And the 8th one, which is individual, team, and multidisciplinary working. So this is a competence which our future engineers, graduates from the university, and any organization, university around the world, which has signed the Washington Accord and go for accreditation according to the Washington Accord, would have to meet up. So multidisciplinary working is very important and is a requirement for any engineer to be able to practice. And I don't think it's just for engineers, it's for any professional who wants to exert in the future, because sustainability is higher up the agenda for any economy. The first case study we've taken up, I'm sure there are lots of projects around where we can showcase the need for multidisciplinarity. So the first one is from my personal experience in the construction industry, where if you want to design a building which is sustainable or typically referred to as a green building, would have to consider various building design parameters at the design stage at the very outset. If you don't do that, we are missing opportunities for synergy or missing opportunities for improving sustainability of the project. For example, if you want to analyze, for example, the designing HVAC systems, HVAC system of a building, you would have to consider building orientation, for example, and the fabric you're using, and the types of architectural devices, passive design, and this would in turn affect your lighting design and other parameters, for example, the size of your cooling plant and so on. So if at the very outset, the project team members will sit together and try to look for the synergies and how one particular building design element is impacting on the whole design. If we leave these professionals to work separately, which unfortunately is the current design paradigm, then you are missing many opportunities. So to properly optimize a building project, an integrated design approach is recommended. And if you look at green building design certification frameworks like LEED and BREEAM, have Green Star and others, you find that integrated design is very much now the route which is recommended to achieve proper design at the very outset of the project. And in a few minutes, the next slide, we see it's a very big team actually working from different disciplines. Some people from agriculture, looking at the plants, the source of plants, the landscape design. You have people from the contracting team. You have the people from architect side, of course, project. A client is there. Then you have the M&E people. You have a quantity surveyor. So very important is if you want to achieve a proper integrated design, these different professionals from different fields would have to work together and be able to find synergy. So it's a very cool and very a good example, which I'm trying to illustrate here. If ever we are trying to form our graduates in the future to work in a multidisciplinary, in a sustainable project, they would have to work together. So we have to be careful of not thinking that if on a project we have a lighting designer, a mechanical engineer, and there's different architects, interior designer, they are definitely working on different aspects of the project. But if they work separately, then we are not achieving the multidisciplinarity I'm talking about. So it's very fundamentally. So right at the education stage in universities, I think it's important that we expose students who are from different disciplines, for example, someone from engineering or from electrical engineering, from mechanical engineering, from civil engineering, but also out of the discipline. For example, students from economics, from finance, science, from agriculture, if they can already start working on projects in a multidisciplinary way, that's going to be a very important attribute. The second case study, which Mr. Tulsi has actually worked on supply chain of fresh foods and vegetables. Again, here we find a competency required in supply chain management, food safety, life cycle analysis, procurement management, green marketing, customer perceptions, economics. So just a few of them. And again here, if we don't get these people on board at the start and we don't have a proper multidisciplinary team working together in a very seamless way and giving inputs and taking feedback from each other at the start, we are not going to obtain a properly optimized sustainable solution. And for me to be sustainable, it has to be properly optimized. So just to finish off this presentation, I would say the Accreditation Framework has several very catalysts at the university for promoting multidisciplinary learning at the University of Mauritius, which I think we need to extend to other students as well. And the concept should be extended to expose students to fundamentally different disciplines, like I said, from agriculture, working with people from economics, and from economics, working with people from engineering, from science, and even from law. That's going to be very useful for our graduates to have. And this multidisciplinarity, the more we are multidisciplinary, the more we are able to work together in a seamless way, the better will be our solutions be and more sustainable will be. Okay, so I thank you very much for attention, and I'll be very happy to hear any feedback from yourself about your own practices to further multidisciplinarity at your universities or any question you may have. Thank you very much.